Well, welcome everyone to Dementia in the Arts. It's a privilege to have this conversation with you today. I think you're going to be really impressed of what you see. Dementia in the Arts was developed basically to be a stigma buster, to give people hope, to show them a variety of abilities of people living with dementia. I'm Lori LeBay, and I am one of your hosts, and I am the founder of Alzheimer's Speaks and Dementia Map. Both are resources for people living with dementia, their families, and professionals. And this program was basically born out of seeing a need to kind of change the horizon of what is possible with dementia. My own mom lived with dementia for 30 years, and that's how I got into this space. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't have known. But it's important for communities to understand more about dementia. Mary is my co-host, and Dale is our featured artist today, and I'm going to let each of them introduce themselves. So, Mary, if you don't mind going next.
Not at all. Good morning. I'm Mary Crescenzo. I am the author of The Planet Alzheimer's Guide, 8 Ways the Arts Can Transform the Life of Your Loved One and Your Own. I'm the playwright of Planet a play about the inner world of Alzheimer's and dementia, and also a public speaker, and I facilitate workshops for caregivers in self-care through the use of creative writing.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Dale, can you tell people a little bit about yourself, please?
Sure, Lori. My name is Marie Latimer. I was diagnosed with the behavioral variant of frontal temporal degeneration in 2016. The neurologist that I saw who diagnosed me knew very little about FTD. And wasn't helpful at all. So I had to rely on the internet to figure out what FTD was. It was really scary. It got very depressed. Thought that I was expecting to die in 2 years. But luckily he was wrong. And as I learned how to deal with my dementia, I was very lucky in that I found a whole new creative side of me that I'd never had before. And I channel that energy and that interest in creativity to help me deal with the stressors and to just go into my own little world. It's been very helpful.
Now, when we were talking offline, you were saying you really weren't an artist prior.
Not at all.
So what sparked your interest in art? Did you see others living with dementia doing it? Was it something kind of on your bucket list that you just never had time for before?
I never had time for it. A friend of mine, when I had to retire from my job, I was a social worker that worked with teenagers who were seriously mentally ill. And I provided in-home family therapy and therapy to the child or the children, and had to retire because I lost my ability to to filter things that I was saying, and knew that it was getting worse and worse. So I had to retire. And part of my retirement package was adult coloring books with sparkly pens. And my husband and I started coloring in these adult coloring books, and my neighbor joined in with us, and we just started making beautiful art with coloring books. And then I decided that, I was doing pretty good. It looked pretty good, and decided I wanted to try to paint. And so my husband bought me some oil paints, and I started out, which wasn't very good because the oil paint took forever to dry. So then I went to acrylic paint and have been doing it ever since.
Wonderful. Well, I think what we'll do is I'm going to pull up some of your photos of your art and let's just talk about them one by one.
Sure.
I think that will be the easiest. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. And
Okay.
we have all different types of them. Okay. So do you want to talk about these at all?
Sure. My brother bought a new house and he wanted to have some lawn ornaments and wanted gnomes. But he didn't want brand new gnomes. He wanted old ones. And we scoured the shops, couldn't find any. And my husband found these unpainted gnomes in the store. And we decided that we were going to paint them for our family members and for my brother and do it in the way that they with their football teams. So we have Steelers, we have Ravens, Baltimore, and another Steelers guy. We had a blast with it and surprised our family with the gnomes for Christmas one year. And we went from there. I just trying to be creative and coming up with different ideas.
Okay, great. Mary, any comments on these?
Well, I love that they're individualized.
Mm-hmm.
When you first look at them, you think, okay, they're gnomes. But when you look close, you really see how you tailored it to this family member. And I love the details on them because you can take something that's already general and really tailor it and customize it to your own creativity. And I see that's what you did here. I like that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep, I agree. What about these here?
I ran out of gnomes. So I wanted to give my sister something for Christmas that was in the same line of the football theme. And she's really into Ravens. So I did these wine glasses and a wine bottle for decorative.
I love that. I love that. And I love the way you have it lit up too.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. I've never seen anything like that. That is lovely. With the light, it's gorgeous.
Thank you.
And here's another.
Again, no more gnomes. So I went to a glass block and decorated it with the Raiders. And there's a light in there as well. So they used it for a night light.
Oh, cool.
I want to mention that both of those, this one, the Raiders and the ones, the glasses before, art can also be made as a functional thing. You've got a lamp, you have glasses. So really that's another way to expand your creativity to make something functional for someone else. I love that.
That's a great point, Mary.
This was a glass block I did for a friend of mine. Painted it, and again, it has lights, and she uses it in her kitchen as a nightlight.
Oh, cool. How precious to get something like that from a friend.
That's what I wanted. I wanted people to remember me. Mm-hmm. And the best way I thought I could do it was by giving them something that was special for them, and that was that they would really get that it was made just for them. Mm-hmm. This is another glass block that I did with lights in the background.
Okay. And does this say, I can't read it that clearly. Does it say I will always believe in miracles? Okay.
That's right.
Okay. And here's a different code.
This is one that I did. It was kind of a paint and sip at the local bar. And it was a local artist who joined us and helped us to come up with this swan. And that was really fun. That hung in my bathroom for a long time.
Very nice. Is this acrylic?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful reflection in the water that you were able to create. Great composition, just a beautiful, peaceful painting.
Yes.
Well, it's one of those where I wouldn't imagine it came from, a sip and paint type thing.
Right.
I see so many people
Yeah.
do beautiful art at those sip and paints, just that little guidance and in a fun
Yes.
atmosphere, where you're not.
It was very fun.
Not so nervous and stuff. It's beautiful. And here we go again, a whole different type of
wow.
My mom crocheted dolls. She crocheted all kinds of doilies. She crocheted blankets. She was so talented. And I had an entire crate of these doilies that she had. And I wanted to share them with our family, but no one uses doilies on the tables anymore. So I tried to come up with creative ways of that people could use the doilies in different ways. And so, like this example, I put the doily, I covered it in spray starch and put it over the top of a bowl and let that dry on there, and it formed that bowl, and then painted it. I made paintings or pictures out of them. I made little glass bottles with them, just anything I could think of to use the doilies. So everybody had doilies that were my mom's.
That is so original, so beautiful. I've never seen anything transformed like a doily into something like this. What about you, Lori?
No, I haven't either. And I was wondering if you painted it before or after, or if that was the color she, originally made it in. So
when I put it in the starch, that's when I added the color.
Okay. Very
Does
cool.
it function? I see it has, of course it's a doily, so it has like holes in it here and there. But does it function? Like, could you put something in there, or is it more just you could? The starch keeps it solid.
I gave them to my nieces, and they put like a napkin, a cloth napkin in it, and used it for chips and that kind of stuff.
Oh, cool!
I love it.
Yeah.
And here's another picture.
That's another example of it.
And this one I love too. Can you explain this? And do you remember when you did this one?
My brother's birthday was July 4th. And so for his birthday, I decided we needed to do a flag. And I wanted to do the skyline of New York City. And so I came up with the skyline. And of course, we had to have the Statue of Liberty there. So we've got the flag behind it and the Hudson River in front of it.
So with this, did you look at a picture of the skyline? Or
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. And boy, it took me a while to make the Liberty.
Turned out really nice. Now, did you do the flag and the water first and then do the skyline after? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
One of the things I love about this is that you did a creative skyline, because there are stars in our flag. There are stars, and then it almost is like a sunset, right? The way the colors are running, and yet it's the flag. It's so original and striking, especially as a New Yorker. I look at that and I think I've never seen anything like that, and I love your choices.
Thank you.
Yep, I agree. Now this one's really interesting.
This is my guardian angel. My husband was, while I was learning how to paint, he taught himself how to nap stones and make them into arrowheads. And he always had a bunch of extra rocks all around. So I got all of his rocks and I spray painted them and I made my little guardian angel. Gave her some doll hair. That is on a round pizza pan.
I was wondering what it was and how big it
it's a pizza pan.
was.
And she hung on my wall for a long time.
So now the face, the chin, I mean, it looks almost three-dimensional there.
It is.
It is. Okay, so what did you use for the face then?
That's just a piece of cardboard that I did her face on and then pasted it on there. And then pasted hair around it. Okay. But yeah, that's all made out of rocks.
Okay, and I love the arms. You know, I didn't even notice those at first. And then I was looking at the green outline of the dress towards the bottom, the lighter green. What is that then? Is that just paint or?
That's just paint there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here's another thing that you can do when you're creating art, as you did so well, Dale. Take found objects. Take an everyday object. Here's a pizza pan. And just look at it and think about, what can I do? So it's really, you can find stuff all around you. You don't need expensive, tools and things. Here's a pizza pan, and now we have a guardian angel.
Right.
Cool. Okay, you want to explain this piece?
Sure. This is a piece of driftwood. I lived really close to the Susquehanna River, and there was a beach where I lived that had lots and lots of driftwood just float up from the river. And this piece looked like Montana. It's kind of in the shape of Montana. I have a cousin who works, plays an instrument for Gary Stincy. He is from the Lieutenant Dan Band, and goes all around the United States and other places and performs for troops. And so I thought that this would be my little flag again, something that he could remember us by. And it's kind of looks like Montana. The backside of it, I did the seal of Montana because that's where we all grew up. And he really enjoyed it. He thought it was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't even realize the flag at first because I was focusing on the words, and I just thought, oh, how cool. And then it was like, oh my gosh, the flag.
There's a flag there.
Yeah, very neat. I love this one.
This was an attempt at making a disaster look a whole lot better. This is from a gourd that we grew in our backyard.
Oh.
And when I drilled out the hole, it was supposed to be a small hole for a bird house. And I broke it badly. And it fractured all the way around. And so my husband helped me to drill out a bigger hole. And then I had to come up with a solution for it. So I made it into my duck.
I love it. I just think it's so dang cute. I was wondering what it was. I wouldn't have known it was a gourd. How about you, Mary?
I didn't. I thought it was maybe a rubber toy or something that you added things to it. There's that found object again turned into art.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, we had a bunch of gourds like this one again that I made into a birdhouse for my sister. And just painted around it. There's several, all the way around the gourd. There is several little hummingbirds dancing around on there.
You know, again, I never would have known that was a gourd.
Right. Very nice.
My frog. That's with clay.
Oh.
A friend of mine, I had done another clay sculpture that was in the shape of a frog. And my friend said that he wanted a frog. So I decided to make his a little bit different. He's on his lily pad in the pond, and there's a little fish there that he's trying to catch, and that's his fishing pole. Um, and he has some flowers on the pond. He thought that was quite a feat for someone that's never done this kind of stuff.
I think it's great. I love the dimensions. I love your creativity.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
3-dimensional, 2-dimensional, abstract, representational like this. It brings two thoughts to mind if I can just express them right now. The first one is that for every moment that you are focused on your art, you're not focused, I'm guessing, on your cognitive circumstance.
Right.
And that is powerful and engaging and healthy.
Yes.
Science has proven that this can be good for your health. The other thing that comes to mind is that you are leaving a legacy of who you are for everyone that you give these to. And I think what's exciting about art, and I think what people are drawn when they're drawn to it, is that we are not immortal, but our art can live on.
Right.
And those two thoughts come to mind when I look at your body of work here, and I know you're still doing it. I quite honor you for putting yourself in that moment, in the moment of art, and what it can do.
Yeah, I consider myself very blessed. There's a lot of bad things about having dementia. A lot of things have changed about me. I'm not the same person I used to be 7 years ago. But I can still, I can use the skills that I have. And that's what I try to do every day, is to do something that people will remember me by.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now this piece here, what was this, acrylic, or what is this one then?
Friends of ours got married, and this was kind of my gift to them. Their love with the tree branches, kind of in a shape of a heart, and we got the buck and the doe in that, with the background with the sunlight in the background.
Okay. Well, and I picked up on the heart right away with the tree. And so that's exactly what I was like, oh, that's just such a loving picture. So that came through. Anyways, for me, loud and clear. How about you, Mary?
Absolutely. I saw it. I saw the symbolism. I saw the sunrise in terms of future and hope. And it's just very lovely. Yeah. Very nice.
Thank you.
Okay, we're leaving ground.
This is our planets. Again, my brother was really into astronomy, and so I decided that I was gonna make all the planets and the little stars over to the side. That's his not horoscope, his stars for his horoscope, I guess. He was born in July, so I believe he was a Leo, and that was, I copied what the stars look like.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. I love the variety of color, and it catches your eyes. It keeps you moving. It's very intriguing.
Thank you.
And then you go to this. It's just so calming.
I struggled making waves. I made waves for 6 months before I could finally figure it out. It's really hard.
It is.
I have a sketchbook where I was just trying to do waves. And this was, we lived right close to the beach. So this was one of my beach scenes.
I like how you captured, I'm sorry. I like how you captured the foam on the shore.
Right.
That's not easy to do either.
No, it's not.
Yeah. You caught it though.
And the reflection from the sky and the water as well. Yeah,
Yes.
it's very, very nice.
And this is my daughter's guardian angel.
Okay.
And this is just with acrylic paint. And I'm really bad at doing faces. So this little lady doesn't have a face.
Okay.
I did this for my husband. We did, in our wedding, that was our, part of our wedding was this, verse from the Bible. Love never fails.
That's beautiful.
Lovely.
And here we're getting.
And this is an acrylic pour. My hands shake a lot now. And I drop the paintbrush a lot. And it's harder and harder for me to be able to make real intricate details with the brush. So on Pinterest, I found something called acrylic pouring. And you mix the acrylic paint with a medium that makes it much thinner. And then you pour it on your canvas, and you tilt the canvas to make abstract art. And that's what I've been doing most of the time now because of my lack of fine motor skills.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you know what you pour in with the paints?
Yeah, there's different mediums you can use that you can purchase online. Lately, I've just been adding water to the paint just to thin it down enough so that it will move on the canvas. But there's other mediums that you can buy, and you can get them anywhere from Hobby Lobby or whatever.
Okay.
I like that. And also, may I make a suggestion? When your hand is shaking, I can understand the frustration of it. But rather than try to make something that is even and straight, just as an experiment one day, just go with that. Let your hand shake. Let it go on the paper. And you may create an abstract just from the use of your hand as it is.
Yeah.
And when you finally finish with that, you might find that it's another aspect of your art through your circumstance rather than fighting it. Although I love this idea about the pouring as well.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
this is when I use a stencil over the top of one of my acrylic pours. For the Navy, my brother's a Navy guy. His walls were full.
Well, that's neat.
And again, we've had another deer eating apples off the apple tree.
The detail on the tree, though, and giving it the dimensions and the shadowing and stuff is, it's just, I'm just really impressed with, all that you do. I mean, there's so much in these pictures. There's so much detail to look at.
Yeah, the shadow that Lori's talking about, it creates that contour. You can see the 3 dimension of the tree, and that's striking to me, as well as the flowers that you have also around the tree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And here's one on dragonflies.
This I did for a friend of mine who also lost her husband. And dragonflies are a sign from above that your loved one is nearby. And so I made this for her to put next to his urn so she'd always remember that he's always there.
Wow. And the details of the dragonflies, I mean, you have the transparency, of the wings and the body. It's, you really have a nice eye for detail.
Good point.
Dying to know what this one's about.
This was a huge painting. And again, you can see my little waves. They're a little bit better. And then the moon, I used pieces of the stone that my husband was napping with. And I made a little collage out of the moon. And this was done for my niece. She wanted a picture of the beach.
Okay, nice.
I'd like to note the clouds. Clouds are also not easy to paint if you want to make them realistic, and that you did an amazing job with them.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fun. Again, another gourd that I just cut out, and I made it into a bird feeder.
Okay. I just love your creativity on how to reuse.
My brother had some big round glass tabletops that he had on small little pedestal. And they were clear, and it was basically just waiting to get broken by falling over. So I took the glass home with me, and I did acrylic pours on them. And remind you, this is really huge piece of glass. And then I attached it to different legs to make it sturdier, and gave that back to him so that he could use it for his porch.
Oh, cool.
Very nice.
Thank you. Bird houses. Each side of it had a different bird. I had a peacock and a robin, and I don't remember what the other one was.
Okay. Oops, missed one here. There's peacock.
And again, that's another round one.
Oh, yes, yes.
With peacocks.
Very cool.
I love how the design fits. For a moment, I didn't even see the peacock, and then I saw both of them.
Uh-huh.
I like the circle, too, the use of the circle for the picture.
Thank you.
Yeah, the little, like flowers in the tree, they just remind me of almost fireflies.
Oh, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this is beautiful.
This is the beach from Peach Bottom. In the background, in the mountains there, you can see all kinds of light poles back there. That's a Peach Bottom nuclear plant. And the kids would go down to the beach and have big bonfires and their canoe, and there's all the driftwood hanging out. One of the kids that grew up in the neighborhood wanted a painting of the beach for her wedding. So I did this for her wedding to hang on her wall, to always remind her of Peach Bottom.
Lovely.
Yeah, looking at the skyline kind of with the streaks and stuff, I don't see that much in photos, but I see it in the sky.
Right.
There's just that kind of brilliance coming out, and you've got the smokestack, you've got the reflection in the water. The fire is really detailed too. I mean, it's just
that was hard. I did a lot of fires too.
Dale and Lori, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the artist Edvard Munch.
No.
Okay, he did the famous Scream. There's a guy like screaming, and that's one of his favorite pieces. But he did so many seascapes like this, and I would love for you to check his work out because you have the same ability to get those reflections on the water and the use of your stroke. Check his work out. It's Munch.
Munch.
Yes, and you'll see that you both are on the same, no pun intended, wavelength.
Okay.
And this is another gourd.
Yeah, I
We
never
got a bunch of gourds that year.
And what I'm amazed by, I always thought gourds were thicker. Or do you just carve these out so much?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, once they get dry, they're really hard. Here's one that I've been working on. I don't know if you can see it. This is going to be another birdhouse made like a duck when it's done. But once they dry, they get as hard as wood. And so I use a drill to drill them out and then have to scrape and scrape and scrape to get the seeds and stuff out of them. But that year that we had so many gourds in our garden, I just put them down in our basement and allowed them to dry for 6 months. Some of them rotted, but most of them turned out pretty good. And that's what I made these little baskets out of, and then painted it like a basket, and added flowers to it.
Beautiful.
This was for my son's ex-girlfriend who had a baby. And she had a theme of baby animals in the child's bedroom. So I try to depict all the little animals that were getting along well together.
Okay. And this one here, the leaves are different than on some of your other trees and stuff. So what technique did you use for your leaves here?
I used a fan brush and just dipped it in the green paint and then just dipped it all around on the tree.
Okay. And then
good observation and good question too, because I was noticing it was different, but I couldn't really figure out how.
Yeah. And same with the flowers, they're more, and then I'm also looking at your pictures behind this one, the detail, it's just
fabric.
What was that?
It's fabric.
Oh, it's fabric. Oh, okay. I thought, man, look at the details she did on those. Okay.
No, I had that hanging on a cupboard.
Okay.
And that's what the little vase looks like with flowers in it.
Wow. I mean, and just what a beautiful bouquet.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Oh.
Another one.
Gosh, Dale, I'm just so impressed. Okay.
These were wine bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And no, I didn't drink it all by myself.
Look how you just transformed this.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful.
There's these lights at the top of them. That's not a cork. It's attached to lights that are down in the bottom. And then I filled them with those little clear stones that you use for all kinds of stuff. And that was something that I made for one of my nieces.
Oh, okay. So the cork is the light and the stones are inside. I was thinking, because my daughter has a wine bottle, but she has like a string of lights inside.
Right.
But then it has to come out, and then you got to plug it in, and that kind of takes away. So I love this.
This just has a little button on top of the thing that looks like a cork. And you just switch that on, and the lights dangle down. That's great.
Dill, where do you get these great little
I found this on Pinterest again. Pinterest is my friend.
So do you remember where you bought them, though?
I got those off of Amazon.
Oh, what do you look for? Lighted cork?
Bottle
I wouldn't even think to search something like that.
Bottle lights.
Bottle lights. Okay. Okay. And here you've got some more.
Some more little critters.
Yeah.
This was a commission piece that I did for a friend of mine that's from the Dominicans. And there's a very special tree that she wanted represented. And so I tried to do the beach and little mountains in the background. And what I did was I had my family was running out of wall space. So I told people if they would like a piece of art, that if they would donate to the Association for Frontal Temporal Dementia, AFTD, if they would donate money to them, I would send them the painting. And so this is one that she sent a donation in my name. Wow. And again, it was my way of trying to pay back by helping an organization that has helped me so much and many other people who have FTD. And so I did quite a lot of paintings commissioned like that. And they just donated money to AFTD for me.
Oh, cool.
Great idea.
Oh, here's another pour. This really pulls you in, or it does me.
My black hole.
It's interesting because I was looking at the hole and being pulled in, but then when I sit back, I look at, and I don't know, I see a body with hands and a head folded down.
Me too.
Yeah, and so there's I love pours and abstract because there's so many different things that you can see.
You can find so many weird little things in them.
Yeah, very cool.
I like the white light on the bottom.
Yeah,
something in contrast. Very nice.
Thank you. This is another commission piece. She wanted a white wizard with a dragon in the tree. So this is my interpretation.
Okay. This reminds me, I was playing a game with my granddaughter, and they incorporate, wizards and all this stuff, this game, in order to get the kids to do the math. So we were doing
that's a good idea.
That's what this reminds me of.
You bet. This was another great, big, huge painting that I did. My niece wanted it for her. She's a teacher and teaches from home. So she wanted it hanging behind her in where she does her teaching. And I got maps of the world and blew them up and then tried to trace them. On a different picture I probably didn't send to you, I had a little sign off to the side that said, the world according to Dale, because many of the countries are misshapen. I took some land from some countries and gave other countries the land. So this is the world according to me.
Okay, I love it.
Me too.
That's from my husband. I love you to the moon and back.
Oh, that's a saying we have in our family too. Beautiful. Oh, look at this.
That is another acrylic pour, and what I did was I cut the bottom off of a soda bottle. And again, this comes from Pinterest. This wasn't my wild idea. And then I put the cup on the top of the canvas, and I poured the different colors of paint around on the cup, and made that design.
Interesting.
I love that. So did you had to glue that onto the canvas first?
No, I just set it on top of it, and then
Uh-huh.
poured the paint, and then I lifted it off, and then I made it so that it covered the entire canvas.
Wow.
Wow. I'm not even sure how you did that, but I'm impressed.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me
Go
too.
to pour paintings on Pinterest,
Okay.
and
Okay.
they'll show you how to do it.
Okay.
Good.
It's a flag that my husband and I made from one of my nieces. This was made out of wood. Very, very heavy. So we hung it on her porch. And this last year I had to take it down and redo it. The stars had started to fall off and the paint was peeling.
And is that one of your gourds hanging too?
No, this is all made out of wood.
Okay, but I'm saying up above, it looks like there's a gourd.
Oh yeah, that's one of my feeders.
Okay, okay.
That's funny. I didn't even notice that. I tried doing a self portrait.
It's very
Not so
nice.
good.
No, I think it's very good. It's very powerful.
I tried.
It's very detailed. And it's got great lines to it. You've got the shadowing and stuff. No, I think it's wonderful.
And the eyes are so just, I don't even have words. They're just so strong and looking right at the viewer. I really like it.
Thank you. We traveled through Arizona when we were traveling for a couple years in our RV, and I absolutely love the cactuses. So I had to paint them, so I'd always have a memory of them.
Yes, the beautiful saguaro, and they're gorgeous. I love that area.
Oh, it was so beautiful.
Now, I don't know. I can't read what this says.
It's the same one that to the moon and back.
Okay. That's beautiful. The colors, though.
Mm-hmm.
The
Thank you.
waves.
This is another acrylic pour. It was done with different cups of paint. You take a big cup and you pour in the different colors of like blue and white. And then for the beach, I used different colors of brown to make the beach colors. And then I flipped the cups over on top of the canvas and moved it around to make it look like ocean waves and a beach.
Wow.
It looks exactly like that, like almost from a bird's eye view.
Mm-hmm. This is our first camper that we got. It was a tiny little R-Pod. And unfortunately, the lighting was really bad when I took a picture of it. But it showed us camped next to a river.
Okay.
And it's another acrylic pour on a piece of wood.
Okay. Well, the colors are just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What happens with these?
You
Now you poured a pumpkin.
betcha. We then cut it out. Made a face out of it.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. Again, so many things I never would have thought of at all.
Me neither. Me neither.
And this one's gorgeous.
Oh, wow.
That turned out really, really nice.
That is beautiful.
Several people laid claim to it.
Yeah.
Is that a peonies?
Oh, I don't know what kind of flower it is.
It's beautifully depicted.
Yeah, it's just it's amazing what you can do with acrylic pours. And what this was, I had done another cup with where I poured the paint over the bottom of a bottle and made that design. And then I took a napkin that was damp and I laid it over the top of it and pressed it down onto the canvas. And when I pulled the napkin off of it, that's what was there.
Wow. So
Wow.
did you do did you do the black first and then do the
Yes.
pour of the flour? Okay.
Yeah.
And was the black a pour too, or was that, it almost looks like
Yes.
brush strokes? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mixed it with some gray and some silver to
Okay.
make it appear more shiny.
Okay.
It's gorgeous.
Thank
It
you.
really is. It really pops.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It really pops. Oops, did I do? Nope. Okay. And here's a combo piece.
More examples. This is my first attempt at putting resin on paintings. Unfortunately, you can't see it with my cheapo phone camera, but they really shine. And they looked really neat. This I did by, I had a piece of bubble wrap and I just poured the acrylic paint on it in different designs. And then, I did that on the table, and then I flipped my canvas over on top of it and squished it down, and that's the pattern that it came out with.
Oh wow! I've never heard of that technique before. Have you, Mary?
Neither have I.
Go to Pinterest.
I love it. Oops.
Me too.
Okay, so here you've got a wall of pours.
Right. And my son's hallway.
Okay. Very cool.
This was rope that was put in some glue and flour and paint. So it was really thick. And then I just made it in the shape of a design of a tree and added it to the canvas. And when it dried, I just painted it and made it look like a tree.
Wow. It's just incredible. It's absolutely
I
incredible.
don't know if you can see it.
You are a genius at this found object stuff.
Yes.
You just transform materials. I never would have guessed. Lovely.
It's fun.
Yeah, taking old mop strands. I mean, it's
It's
just
amazing.
perfect. What's this one about? Is
This
a
is,
4th of July?
My son, when he bought his house, I did this painting for him to celebrate. We got fireworks over the water.
Oh, lovely.
It's just jars that I wrapped the doilies around, and again put starch on them to make them really heavy and to make them keep their shape. And I just wrapped a ribbon around them. Use them for pencil holders or candy, or could put a candle in it, or even a plant.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think of a candle. Okay.
That was made from some pieces of metal, and then the bell and the bottom part of the bell were lights that hung on the wall. I took them apart and made it as part of the wind chimes. Hardest thing I've ever done. It was so difficult trying to get them even so that they would actually make noise, and they'd actually hit the knocker. I don't ever want to do that again. They were very, very difficult.
Here's the other one.
Yes. That is made out of, the top part of it is like a Jell-O mold that people put Jell-O in to make it a mold. And the brass, my husband replaced our fittings for our water system with brass and, copper. And that's what was left of it. So I cut them off at different lengths and did another wind chime. And again, that was very, very difficult to do. It was so hard to make them different lengths and make them actually chime. but well worth it. These folks that I gave the wind chimes to helped us when we moved. We were living in a little tiny town in western Pennsylvania called Mahaffey, and we had got the house from my husband's mom, and that was going to be our retirement home. And when I learned that I had dementia, and according to my neurologist, only had 2 to 5 years to live, we decided that we needed to move back to the Lancaster area so that I could be closer to my kids and my nieces for them to help my husband take care of me. And so we sold that home, and these women came and helped me get it packed up and get it ready to move. So these were gifts that I made for them for doing that for us.
Bill, how many years ago was that your doctors told you that?
2016, I was diagnosed. And I'm still going strong.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Well, this has just been incredible. The variety, the creativity. I mean, nothing's off limits. Even your Jell-O pan, women, is not.
It's not safe.
I love that, though. I absolutely love how you just look at everything as the form and the texture and what it could be. Kudos to you, because boy, I just, my heart feels full just going through all of this stuff and seeing all of this. So thank you. Very powerful.
Me too.
I've just been so blessed. And when my husband and I, after we moved out of our house in Mahaffey, came back to Lancaster to the home that the kids were raised in, and we decided we wanted to sell it and get an RV and travel. And after going through all the what if questions, we said to heck with it, and we sold our house and we bought an RV and we traveled in it for about 2 years. My husband bought big dome kind of tent where I could go outside and work on my art. And he would do his napping of his stones. And we worked together on our little creative tasks. And then when he got sick, we again moved back to Lancaster. And he, unfortunately, when caregivers of people who have dementia don't take care of themselves and put their loved one first, he didn't get medical care. He took me to all my doctor appointments, but he didn't go. And as a result, he ended up with esophageal cancer that had completely closed off his throat. So he wasn't able to swallow any foods or drink water. They put in a feeding tube for him. And he tried chemo for about 3 months. And when another CAT scan was done, it had spread. The cancer had spread to his stomach. And so at that point, we got hospice involved. And we moved our trailer to the back of my son's property. And we lived there until Dave passed away. And he chose to. He decided he was going to stop feeding himself. And it was his choice. He went out the way he wanted to. But I always tell people, don't allow your caregiver to not take care of themselves. They have to be provided for, because Dave could have been here. I mean, it was, if they had caught it early enough, he'd still be here. So I am fierce advocate for caregivers to make sure that they're not just focused on their loved ones that have dementia. I have been very fortunate. I count my blessings all the time, all the memories Dave and I made together. I'm very fortunate that I have my art to keep my mind occupied. I just go into a different zone when I'm working on things, and helps with the depression, helps with the losses, and helps other people, like having people donate money to the AFTD. It's such a great organization, and they have helped me so much that it's just a small way of me being able to repay them. If your loved one that has dementia isn't taking care of themselves or is bored, get out a coloring book. Sit down with them and color or do some kind of art project. You never know. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would be doing this kind of art. But try it. If at first they don't succeed, just keep trying other methods. I mean, there's all kinds of ways of expressing art.
And it doesn't have to be what other people do. I mean, you've shown that, and through Pinterest, just trying different things. I mean,
yes,
that's what it just intrigues me about your art is there's nothing off limits, in terms of that freedom to try. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Not a big deal, but it's still the adventure of, of the experience itself. And I loved that you guys continued your artwork on the road. You made it was fun. You made that work. And I think that that's something that a lot of people wouldn't even consider. Well, I can't do that there. I have all my stuff here. What do your family and friends think of all your artwork? They seem to be enjoying it from all the gifts.
They're shocked. They're constantly amazed that I'm actually doing this. That because like I said, I never had any creativity. And I firmly believe that it's as parts of my brain are destroyed by this disease, new pathways have opened up. And that's a new pathway was open up to my creativity, that part of my brain. And even though my personality's changed, there's a lot of things I can no longer do that I used to be able to do. I still have that piece of me that I can make memories and share with other people.
Well, Dale, we appreciate your time, your expertise, your openness, your creativity so much. I mean,
thank you.
Like I said, I'm just ready to go rock and roll the rest of my day. You've really lifted my soul, and I've totally enjoyed our conversation.
Me too. Me too.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Lori. I am inspired. I've learned things, as always, on this program. I see a parallel between how you, Dale, look at the world and the art differently and objects. You look at them differently.
Yes.
And that gives you peace. And I think also it seems that you're looking at your dementia differently. Mm-hmm. And in doing that in both cases gives you empowerment to a degree over both of those things. And I think I see peace and joy as well. I think that's a lesson. And I so appreciate hearing and watching how you work and how it makes you feel.
Thank you.
And others, how it makes others feel too.
Yeah. That's the part I like.
Well, to our audience, I hope you love this as much as Mary and I did. Like I said, we've learned so much, and hopefully we've inspired you to step out of your comfort zone and try something, look at the world a little bit different, and tap your toe into the world of art. Bring your loved one in and maybe join them.
Yes.
I love how you and your hubby, both had different things, but you did them together.
Yes.
And, both had that appreciation to be able to share. Again, I want to give a shout out to Dementia Action Alliance. You can find their Dementia in the Arts page on Facebook, or you can go to daanow.org to learn more about all of the wonderful things they do. You can visit, and I'll have all this stuff in the show notes, Mary's website, as well as Alzheimer's Speaks and Dementia Maps and Forget Me Not, which is a community Facebook page. And then we'll also add the link to the AFTD Association as well on here for people to be able to tap into. And I'm going to put a link down for Pinterest for people to go ahead and snoop around on there.
Yes,
that's
important.
Pretty inspiring there. So again, thank you so much for your time, Mary. Of course, I appreciate your time. This program. I just find it so valuable. So
you're welcome. And thank you, Dale and Lori, for allowing me to be a part of this wonderful morning.
Keep up the great work, Dale. You're changing lives out there. So
I will. Yes.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Lori.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey everybody, Jared Sebestier, host of Retire Repurposed. This podcast is dedicated to help people transition into fulfilling and purposeful retirements. Retirement is a big life change. In fact, the two most dangerous years of a person's life are the year they were born and the year they retire. Few people can just flip the switch from working a career 30 or 40 plus years, retiring on Friday without methodical steps to living what we call a repurposed retirement. To listen now, search Retire Repurposed on your favorite podcast platform, Senior Resource, or Life Audio.